at the bottom left. Our Protoss player down a game. He needs to win this. He is.
Liquid Hero.
He's going to have to be a hero for himself today. This is his last chance. If he loses this game, he is out of Code S. He will fall all the way in 4th place to the round of 48 of Code A. His opponent on the team, Startail, the emotionless Stone Cold Killer. He is
StarTale Curious.
That is the Curious face. Great late game play out of Curious. Just the right amount of aggression. Didn't overcommit to Hydralisk in his play last game either. Just looking strong all around. Hero, of course, doing a Forge Fast Expand. He's not Seed. Question is, will he Nexus first or Forge first? You see his Probe Scout going out off Pylon. Curious going 14 pool. They are at cross positions, so decided to go pool first before even seeing the Probe Scout. Safe choice for this map, I feel. Hero going Forge first as well, so we will have a very normal set of openings here between these two players. Look at the win rate. You can see that both players have a decent win rate on this map, but neither of them a lot of games played. This is a map that a lot of Zergs complain about, a map that is picked by Protosses almost consistently against Zergs if it is available in the GSTL. It is a map, though, that statistically speaking, the win rates are pretty even. It's arguably, though, a harder map for Zerg to play on. Pylon block goes down here. He cancels it, may make another if he wants to. Just continuing to be annoying here. The hatchery will eventually get planted. He actually drops the second pylon. Drops the second pylon at the natural, and Curious will force a cancel with these Zerglings. 50 minerals plus some mining time loss for Hero to significantly delay the hatchery. Third drone already going over to drop that third hatchery. Meanwhile, Cannon and Gate on the way for Hero, going Cannon before Gate, just like we saw him do last game. No denial on the third base. The Zergling actually denying there for just a second. Probe will come to verify this, and will just barely be able to see it before being killed. Nice micro by Hero. It's going to be insignificant in the end. One more swipe will do it. Boom. Double gas is going down now for Hero. His Nexus completing. Killing his neutral depot so he can use that area later to block, make production facilities, whatever he wants. He's not worried about a Zerg blocking his ramp and killing him. The 4 Zerglings, 4 Curious now going across the map to scout whether or not +1 is being researched. He's got the Overlord coming in from the side to check the gases as well. He's going to get all the information he needs. The Zerglings will see no +1. Checks again, sees no +1. And after the Zerglings went away the second time, though, +1 was started. Right now, Curious is playing a very normal game, and Hero is actually going to go ahead and plant a very premature pylon. So he's going to have this up no matter what as he goes to scout additionally here. And with the new Queen range, very difficult to get into the main, and some hesitation from Hero means that he will likely lose his probe without very much information at all. Yep. That's exactly what happened. We do see that +1 and Warp Gate Research are still both on the way. And the question is he chronoing it? It's chronoing Warp Gate Research right now, so he may definitely use that pylon for Zealot pressure here. Has not taken his gases at his natural just yet. And meanwhile, Curious is just droning up like a madman, taking his first 2 gases right now. He's not going to have speed, not going to have roaches in time for this attack, if it hits at the fastest possible timing. And there are the first 2 gateways, and here is the third one. So we are going to see this 4 gateway pressure, as was expected when you see the Warp Gate Research and Forge upgrade being chrono boosted. Only 1 forward pylon up right now. Curious checking in all the wrong places for the pylon. All the normal places, that is, but the pylon on the right side may become important. If it is scouted, which it is being seen right now by an Overlord, maybe the Zerglings will actually go in the incorrect location, which will allow Hero to place a pylon in the north. And this is exactly what is unfolding right now. As I speak, Hero is distracting him with this pylon on the side, putting one up at the north now, and he is going to have this timing perfectly. His gateways are finishing it out all as his +1 and his warp gate research are done all at the same time. As his warp gates are morphing, the pylon is finishing, and this is going to be pretty tough for Curious to hold because he just now is starting his Roach Warren and his Zerlings are going across the map in the incorrect direction. He sees this now with the Stalker. The Stalker gets trapped, but this gives Hero time to prevent the Zergling run by because he's seen now what's going on. The Queen may have moved her last and going over to that hatchery. The hatchery will be targeted down, and there's nothing to stop these Zealots now. Absolutely will lose the hatchery. No doubt about it. The drone's running away. He has not killed the rocks either. He's going to kill the hatchery and will likely kill all these Zerglings with +1. It's going to be very difficult for him to actually win that fight. Broodling's taken out no problem as well. And all the Zerglings came back, so Hero did not face any run-bys. A macro hatch is going down. Lair is on the way. 4 Roaches on the way, but if he warps in a round of Stalkers now, Curious may even find himself even further under pressure. The Roaches with these Zerglings will chase these units back for now. Will he warp in another round? Nice micro by Hero, pulling his weakened Zealot back. Needs a warp in of Stalkers, and here they come. 4 Stalkers warping in. Nicely done. Curious still in a little bit of trouble here, making 6 more Roaches. He's got Zergling speed about to finish, but he lost all of his Zerglings. He's got no Zerglings left. He is going to fight on creep here. These units do have +1. They're about to have +1 armor as well. That is on the way. Roach speed on the way as well for Curious. The Roaches with very little room to run. He's going to lose the Queen, and that is huge. That means no more injects. Another Overlord falls. Nice micro by Hero, taking out Roaches as he retreats. And that is all he needs to do. Takes out the Queens, gets the hatchery, now goes home to his 3rd base. He is leagues ahead. What will Curious do now as a response? He's got the macro hatchery up, so he didn't lose too much production from losing that 3rd hatchery. He's got additional Queens on the way still, droning up a little bit, and he still has this Roach force. It's only 11 Roaches, but it's strong enough to where he could put some pressure on the 3rd base, trade for some sentries. He's going to have Roach speed when he gets there. We see double evolution chambers as well as an infestation pit going up for Curious as well. He's basically trying to do everything he can to get back into this game because he's very far behind right now. Hero has a wall set up though. Phoenix is trying to scout the infestation pit and will successfully do so. Knowing there's no Spire transition on the way, will likely start very soon Robotics. Twilight Council is done here, which allowed him to start +2. He's already got 1-1. We'll start Blink as well. Continue to use these hallucinations to scout the army position. I really love this. Even putting them on follow command so you can see their every movement. Few Zerglings being traded for a sentry there. A good trade for Curious, but he's just not going to be able to break through here. There's no way. Pathogen Glands, double expand for Curious. Getting 1-1 upgrades for his Zerglings. Burrow is on the way. And now the Spire as well. So basically, he knows everything that he was doing before has been seen. His attack that he was considering doing has been thwarted and pushed back. There's basically a fake pressure move by Curious, and this is a great way to get ahead after being behind. Force your opponent to be on the defensive a little bit while you drone up. Worker count right now, 73 to 58 in favor of Curious. Small Roach trap here, very good for Hero, getting some free units, some great force fields. You see Overlord speed as well as the Pathogen Glands upgrade is finishing. He's going to start those Infestors. He's going to time that out so that the Infestors are done with the Pathogen Glands upgrade. But Storm research will be started soon. He's going to have High Templar out to feed back these Infestors. And Hero still has a very scary army right now. And it is moving across the map a little bit. 3 additional gateways going down for Hero right now. Storm is on the way. And now Curious needs to make something happen here. He needs to do something smart and successful. Zerglings do chase the Stalker away from the Watchtower. He sees the Blink research as well as Storm. But if you see Storm as a Zerg, there's not much reply. I mean, there's no Ghost for Zerg. It's just kind of like knowing, okay, well, I have to deal with Storm. Maybe I make a few more Roaches than I was making before because it's hard to storm Roaches. They have so many hit points, but we'll see what Curious's plan is going to be next year. This is a tough position to be in, but he now has the 4th base up and secured, and Hero may be playing this a little bit too passively. Going for that Storm tech does not allow you to have a bunch of Immortals to deal with Roaches. In fact, his Robo is just now finishing up now. It's hard for him to attack, but Curious now has a 4th base. He's got Hive Tech on the way. He's adding Spine Crawlers, even getting +1. 16 drones right now being made. If Hero does not hit a timing here, if he lets Curious build up his Empire, then it's going to be hard for Hero to take this game when Broodlords are out. He needs to take the 4th base or attack very, very soon here. And it looks like his choice is to take the 4th base. A choice that's easier to make when you've gone High Templar. They're great to use defensively. And if he gets blocked, you can actually just storm on top of the Zergling. It's going to be no problem for him. He's actually going to do both. He's going to move out and try to take the Nexus. Takes control off the Watchtower here temporarily, or at least attempts to. Unfortunately for him, though, that's not going to work out. Stargate is about to finish. That's going to allow him to get the very important Mothership. Zerglings do get thwarted by that storm, and at this point, Curious is up 30 supply, and that 4th base is starting to kick in big time. He's making 14 roaches right now. Worker count 94 to 71. He's making a ton of money right now. Hero trying to set up pylons anywhere he can to hit this attack. Greater Spire's on the way, 2nd Spire as well. Let's see how much Hero wants to commit to this. He actually definitely has a really strong timing. He's already got the Mothership research on the way right now. +3 weapons. See if Hero can break through here. His 4th base was denied by that Zergling. He never sent anything through to deal with that, so he still has not gotten that 4th base up. Some hallucinated Immortals going a little bit far forward here, and Hero gets fungled. Some great feedbacks on those ever so important Infestors. The Fungals here are good, but will they be enough? The flank here is what matters. The Zerglings get stormed, but the Roaches, they are the big problem. Some more Spine Crawlers finishing up on the right side here, and this Protoss army is going to find itself a little bit sandwiched. He does not stop the Spine Crawlers, and now they're finished. Infested Terrans here as well. He's being attacked from all angles. A beautifully done defense by Curious. It's not over yet, though. The Zealots are in full retreat, but the Protoss army still stands. He's warped in another group of units. The Mothership Fleet Beacon is out, and now he started the 4th base, but no Mothership has been started yet for Hero. Meanwhile, the Corruptors are on the way. +1 Flyer Carapace is on the way. He already got +1 weapons. And another flank being set up for Curious here. He wants to push the Protoss in between the spines and his army. He's actually going to go for a counterattack instead. He sacks the 4th base. He will sacrifice it. He does not decide to fight here. Zerglings get stormed. The Roaches, on the other hand, are coming in strong. He wants to buy time for these Broodlords. He needs them. He needs them to hold his 3rd base. So many Spine Crawlers here. A great fungal. Here come the Infestors. They want the feedback. He does get 1 feedback off here. But this is the problem. 22 more Zerglings on the way. He's canceled his Nexus. And can he really break through here? Well, since those rocks were never destroyed by Curious, it looks like the answer to that question is absolutely. I cannot believe he never destroyed those rocks. And now he is in a ton of trouble. Hero in a great position. He may tie this series up after all. Stalker's trying to catch these Infestors. The Warp Prism still in position. Now Hero with a better concave on top of the ramp with Storms available to him. This is tough. Good Fungals going down for Curious. Can he hold on? The Broodlords in critical position here. Will he take out the Hatchery? He's already done it. The Hatchery does fall, but the Stalkers have nowhere to run. He tries to blink past, doing a twofold, having a twofold advantage, actually, not only trying to blink past, but getting the Broodlords as well, but he lost all his Stalkers in the process. Now, though, it's 2 bases against 3. There is, yeah, a 3rd base up for Curious at the top left, but he doesn't have any drones there right now. The worker count 71 for Hero to 59 for Curious. No new Nexus just yet for Hero, but he is getting that Mothership on the way, as I mentioned before. And his High Templar count right now just at 1, so he needs to start adding some more Archons in the mix, getting some more Templar out there. And Curious is not going to wait before he attacks this base here. He's coming in. He's going to force a cancel. I feel Hero could have actually denied a little bit there. He's going to wait until the last second where he has a Storm, but the Storms are not really enough. And this round of Warp-ins was just a little bit too late. Not that that's Hero's fault, he just didn't have them available, but Curious getting a really good trade here. Even though he's going to lose all of his Roaches, he keeps his opponent's economy down. There is a left side of the map pylon for Hero, which he will be able to warp units into, harass that northern base, which he sees now with an Observer. Mothership is completing now, and at this point, this game is still pretty even. It's hard to call who's really ahead. I'm so amazed that Curious was able to hold. I feel Hero made a few critical mistakes in his engagement, partially potentially due to nerves. But Curious is not going to stop attacking this base. He's going to force the Protoss units to be here all the time. And that's what I was talking about, that left side pylon. He's going to allow him to warp Zealots, and he's just going to run right into that hatchery. There are no defenses in play. He's got some investors, but they're out of position. This one queen alone is not going to be enough. He targets down the hatchery right away, ignoring the queen, in fact. Zergling's coming in here. Queen does not have enough energy for transfuse, and this hatchery may yet just fall. More Zerglings coming in, but they cannot surround because the hatchery's in the way. The hatchery will fall. And a great trade for Hero. Now Curious is mining limited again. He does have his third base back up and rebuilt, but he has not remade his fourth. Broodlord count down to 1 right now because he did lose those Broodlords from earlier. And Hero now having the fourth base, the mothership, and killing the hatchery is basically in great position. This is the best position that Hero has been in this game. You know, he was in a great position when he was attacking Curious and killing his bases, but now he has really re-solidified things. 4 more Broodlords on the way for Curious. He's repositioning his Spine Crawlers. Curious is going to have to hope for misengagements from Hero again. It's basically impossible for Curious to assault this position with the mothership in play. So many units supporting it. These Zerglings are getting caught as well. Hero knows the game and he's playing it. He knows exactly what Curious is up to. He's like, well, you're just going to keep trying to do these run-bys. It's the only way you can get back in this game. As long as I am ready with cannons in play, a mothership in play, how can you ever actually beat me? Zerglings don't even have vision of that Nexus. Cannot fight there. Neural Parasite is on the way. +2 armor coming out for Hero as well. He adds a few more Corruptors, and this is a nice Fungal. He actually catches a lot here. Fungals again, and so many of these Stalkers will be taken out. All of them. All the Stalkers that got Fungaled initially do fall. This is a great trade for Curious, the best he could hope for in a situation like this when he's so far behind. He's only 10 supply behind right now, and his worker count has re-equalized. 73 to 75. 5 High Templar warping in here. He actually still is being denied with that Nexus by a bird, certainly by Curious. Curious being so map aware this entire game. Zealot did not stand a chance. This is a tough position for Curious. Hero still has this very potent mothership. It's about to have 2 vortexes available. Against this much firepower plus the vortexes and potential Archoning, as he's making more Archons right now, the amount of Broodlords that he has is pretty insignificant. So really thought they could take out that Zealot on the Watchtower, then he just became invisible. They decided to give up and go for this base. But there are cannons in play everywhere. Holy Storm! No! So many cannons in play though. And he actually cannot find an opening. Well, he needs a mothership in play if he's going to do this. A lot of Stalkers going down for free. This is the best that Curious could hope for. And on the other side, there are Spine Crawlers and more Infestors as well. Hero just continuing to give units away to Curious. I feel he could be playing a lot more cautiously here. Curious way behind in this game in so many ways, but every time Hero gives him a bunch of free units, he equalizes the supply a little bit. You see the Robotic Support Bay now on the way, so we can start getting some Colossi out. But how effective is that going to be against this many Broodlords at this point? That is the question. 10 of them are already out with an 11th morphing right now, +2 air weapons on the way as well. Hero, at this point, does have that base at the bottom right, finishing up. Did kill the Zergling there, so he's going to have that extra mining. He's not really going to be worried about his economy. These changelings are going to be totally shut down. The reason why he's doing that is not only for vision, but also so that he does not have the ability to feed back his Overseers. Those High Templar are not getting a lot of kills. Very difficult to storm gas units because they just go and hide, and he's actually going to have to use a ton of Fungals to kill this. I'm not even sure if it's worth it. But he will kill it. But I mean, how many Fungals is that? That is like 6 Fungals. There we go. Meanwhile, his Infestors are out of position. Hero finding an opening here is going to force a cancel on this hatchery. Warp Prism speed on the way at that Robotic Support Bay rather than Colossi. I like this choice a second. Cybernetics Core going down now. He's got +1 on the way for air, making a transition here. +3 for armor on the way, as well as charge. Charge going to help his Zealots in the Warp Prisms close the distance much faster. Not going to be using Zealots as part of his army composition, really just going to be using them to run at hatcheries and kill them. Remember guys, if Hero loses this game, he is out. He is in 4th place. This is still a very tense situation. Curious, if he wins this, he will play against Seed in the final match. 4 Stargates on the way. Hero is going to be making a transition to carriers here. His Nexus does get taken out, at least initially. Look at all those broodlings. The carrier transition is such a smart one, especially when you can make Colossi now as well. Making +1 armor and weapons at the same time. Those 4 Stargates are about to finish. He will start carrier production very soon. He has hidden the Stargates quite well. 4 more Broodlords being morphed, that may be too many. 15 Broodlords. The Infestor count relatively high as well at 17, so basically he has no other units but Infestors and Broodlords. His Roach count is actually at 0 literally right now, and he's got 37 Zerglings on the field, so he's basically relying only on the Broodlords and the Infestors and Spinecrawlers to do damage. It's a very defensive composition, not the best composition for attacking. And still, no carrier switch. Hero just remaxing with gateway units. He's going to make that switch later when he has more money, when he has the better infrastructure, the better armor upgrades. He's getting that shield upgrade for his heir as well. Basically doing everything he can. There's a shot of him now. And look at this. Oh, feedback's the problem here. That was actually a pretty good drop. In the end, though, Curious reacted really well. Another Warp Prism being made, and Hero is on the attack directly here. He finds an opening where he could potentially target down some Broodlords. Takes this opportunity to trade supply. Storm goes down, but uh-oh, he gets bungled. And what will he do now? What will he warp in? 8 Zealots is the answer. He's warping them into the main base. Going for a huge drop. He will potentially try to target down the Hive or the Greater Spire here. The Queen in a great position. He's going for the Greater Spire now. This is that charge I was talking about, not that useful. And when you have only Infestors and Broodlords, you just cannot deal with stuff like this. You have an extremely immobile army. He needs to have a more flexible one, I feel, if he wants to be able to deal with the Zealot harass. So you're going to really float his Broodlords all the way home to defend this? The answer is yes. What other option does he have? Hero still has not shown his hand with the quadruple Stargates. Hive falls as well. He cannot remake his Hive, or rather his Greater Spire. Oh, these Storms are great for Hero. Curious starting to fall apart a little bit here. With his very, very immobile composition right now. Look at the bank at the top right of the screen as well. Hero with a lot more money saved up than Curious does. And oh, he's just tearing apart this third base now. The Archon just killing those drones. The worker count now 75 to 22, and the first 4 carriers at the Stargates are on the way. There they are, 4 carriers. He has 1-1 for them already, as well as shield, so I guess you could arguably say 1-1-1. But this is not a Terran versus Protoss push. This is Hero. Going to tie up this series very likely. Curious is looking pretty weak right now. The High Templar count is 7. He's got so much energy on these. All it's going to take is some good feedbacks, and he will tear through the Infestors, and the Carriers and Archons will do the rest. The Mothership, do not forget, is still out as well. He's getting rid of these Zealots on purpose, trying to find a better way to use his supply. 2-2 upgrades coming out now for the Carriers, as well as +2 for shields. We're going to see another Speed Warp Prism drop. He figures there's nothing here, so he's going to go for something else. Some High Templar getting a little bit ahead of themselves. Do get taken out. The final one survives barely with full energy. He's going to kill this base. This base not that significant, but Hero has the economy to where he can afford doing this, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Killing some more drones, warping in more units, and Curious in a very strong position here will kill this Nexus, but it's not a Nexus that Hero is very concerned with at this point. That's a ton of Infestor energy used on infested Terrans. Now, even though he's 30 supply down compared to Hero, he can make supply from nothing with his Infestors. Imagine if you could suddenly have 30 Marines in your army as well. That's basically what he's doing here. Oh, and the 4th base for Curious will fall as well. This will put him on basically no mining if he loses this. He has that center base, but he's just now putting drones there. The Stargates have been spotted. Immediately, Hero cancels his carrier production. The position here for Curious is nice, how he's systematically killing these bases. Yeah, it takes forever for him to do so, but he's systematically, carefully killing these bases one by one with his Zerg quote-unquote death ball. And now he's going to actually go to the final base, which is at the right side of the map. If he kills this base, he may be able to get himself onto even footing. Finally, we have the Graviton Catapult beam being researched. It's not a beam, it's just a catapult for those carriers. so you can repel the interceptors out of the carriers much faster. +2 shields as well as 2/2 upgrades for carriers finishing now. Few stalkers being warped in to actually try to harass here, and with the positioning of those stalkers, it's going to work out pretty well. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, this is where the action will happen. Curious is trying to figure out if he wants to go for that fourth base location or if he wants to try to corner the army. Looks like he has made his choice, going for the 4th base, the last mining base of Hero. He's just now starting to mine a little bit at the base of the bottom right, but he's lost so many probes. The worker count, by the way, is 35 to 8. All those stalkers we saw earlier are actually killing so many workers right now. They're still killing workers. Nice catch here on the Infestors, but you could say the same, that the Infestors doing a nice catch on the Templar. This game is far from over. Some may argue Curious in a tough spot, but he still has the proper army composition. He has 15 Broodlords and 18 Infestors. Vortex does go down here. He's trying to get his units inside. Oh man, a second Vortex. Now the Mothership's energy is spent. Infested Terrans being dropped down. The carriers trying to close this. The Broodlords being taken out by 2 Archons. 2 Archons kill 6 Broodlords. And the rest of the Broodlords popping out. They will fall in seconds, and the entire game is decided by these 2 Vortexes. And I could not be happier to say, as a commentator and former pro gamer, I am so glad that Vortex is not Heart of the Swarm in the current build. But we do see that the Stalkers are trying to press the advantage a little bit. GG, Hero ties it up 1-1 with some amazing Vortexes. Great control through the mid-game, and more important than anything else, his harassment of the economy of Curious, attacking him at all angles with Storm Drops, Zealot Warp-ins, as well as Stalker behind the mineral line harassment. In the end, it came down to the Vortexes. They decided everything as we watched a huge army that Curious spent the entire game building evaporate in seconds. Tough game to call. That was a long one as well, at 37 in-game minutes. Hero's still looking stressed out, but he's one game away from making it to that PvP match against Seed. And we're going to have that 3rd game. We will have it. The question is, what will be the map? It's something we're going to find out very, very soon here. And I'm curious to see what map Curious will pick here. Is his choice. And he is basically looking like Curious always does. Expressionless, emotionless, just ready for the game to start. He played a good game. Both of them did, in fact. You know, Hero looking strong at many points in that game. But in the end, Curious had still that strong Infestor ball. It all came down to those Vortexes. The positioning for Curious was very careful and calculated with how he was taking out the bases. His economy was left in shambles by Hero's great multitasking. And the map has been revealed to me. It is going to be, in fact, Whirlwind. I did not know Whirlwind was, in fact, even in the pool for the GSL Code S. I thought it was a GSTL only map, but it turns out both players saying in chat that they are ready. And Whirlwind is, in fact, in the pool. We are going to see it played here. A huge map, the biggest map in the pool, a 4-player map. Very tough map to play against Zergon, but we have seen Protoss win on this map in the past in the Team League. One of these players will lose this final game, the 3rd game, and go down to 4th place. Who will it be? Will it be the fan favorite Hero? Will it be the Startail Zerg, the emotionless killer? Oh man, things are heating up now. Both players have put on their headsets. They are in their booths. They are saying go, go, go in the chat. There's not much time left. Look at them. Like I said, this is something every pro gamer has to go in, where both players have said they're ready. They have said go, go to the observers, to the lobby host, and they are sitting in there just waiting for production. They're waiting for me to stop talking. They're waiting for the Koreans to stop talking, because they have to decide who is getting 4th place here. And this is a tough match. Curious having the map choice. He's chosen a big map. Hero very stressed out about playing against Zerg players. This is going to be a tough one. Remember, if Curious beats Hero, he has to play against another Protoss. If Hero wins, he has to go up against Seed in a PvP. Let's not waste any more time talking about it. Let's jump into Game 3.